It's a orange juice.
When one princess tower is down, every tile has really tiny differences. These minuscule differences can lead to more damage or quick damage, depending on what your goal is. It really depends on what you intend to do. If you need to do quick damage, then you're going to need to know the quickest route to the princess tower and if your unit will survive and for how long. Every unit is unique in terms of range, speed, and attack. When one princess tower is down, there are 4 tiles. We'll refer to the 4th tile as furthest from the river. All the units are within range of the king and princess tower when deployed. The 3rd tile from the river. All units are only within range of the princess tower while being deployed. The 2nd tile from the river. No units are in range while deployed and do not get hurt. However, units usually need to step forward and therefore they can be countered very easily here. The 1st tile from the river is very situational and usually not something you play to damage the princess tower. Rather, it's more for defending against enemy pushes from behind. If you just need 1 or 2 shots in the princess tower for the win, then you can plant a musketeer on the 4th tile from the river. She can survive long enough just for 2 shots. If you need 3 to 4 shots, the 3rd tile from the river is safer. Because the musketeer has a long range, this plant is just far enough away from the king tower that it can't reach her. But the musketeer does have to step forward a little bit. It is less chance to connect, but it is a bit more damage. Planting the musketeer on the 2nd tile from the river will ensure she gets 4 shots. This tile is safe for plants because all of the tiles are out of range while she's deploying. Planting the musketeer right at the edge of the river on the 1st tile will allow the musketeer to get 5 shots, but this is insanely far from the princess tower and it is insanely easy to defend. We'll show interactions of all ranged units for each plant so you know what works best for every situation. A dart goblin planted on the most inner 4th tile only gets 1 shot. This is only 100 damage, but it's impossible to react against. When the Dark Goblin is planted just 1 tile lower, he'll get 3 shots onto the tower. Huge difference and nearly impossible to react to. Planted on the 2nd and the 1st tile from the river, he'll get 4 shots in the Princess Tower, but you can definitely react to a Dark Goblin placed this far. Planted dead in the center on the 4th tile from the river, the Magic Archer only gets 2 shots in the Princess Tower. Put him 1 tile down and he'll get at least 4 shots before dying. The King Tower does not hit him while he's being deployed. On the 2nd and the 1st tile from the river, he'll get 5 shots in the tower. The best placement would probably be on the 3rd tile just because of the guaranteed immediate connection after he's deployed. Quick planting a tank followed by a long-range unit like a musketeer can be a lethal attack because they can lock on so quickly. You can do this with different units, maybe even inexpensive units like an Ice Spirit and Dart Goblin for that devastating connection. You better be up elixir or need that final damage in the tower because you're going to be down a lot of elixir after this. Magic Archer works very well because of his absurdly long range. These 3 units are just really good because of their long range and they instantly lock onto the Princess Tower. Another great addition to the Long Rangers is the Flying Machine. While it is squishy, he'll only get 2 shots planted on the 4th and the 3rd tile from the river. But on the 2nd and the 1st tile, he'll get an astounding 5 shots on the Princess Tower. Though, of course, when you plant lower, they have a lot more time to react and just block that connection completely. Short-ranged units like Electro Wizard will be harder to connect to the Princess just because they've got more time to react with all of that walking that the E-Wiz does. E-Wiz will only get 1 shot off when planted on the 4th and 3rd tile. Highly recommend against even thinking about doing this. You're giving up 4 elixir and they can defend that E-Wiz really easily. On the 2nd and the 1st tile, he'll get 1 more attack. Totally not worth it because he's not going to even connect. He's not going to get those 5 attacks on there. The cannon cart gets 5 shots in the tower when planted on the most inner tile. Meanwhile, the cannon cart gets 6 shots when planted 1 tile lower. The drawback is that it will take a bit longer to connect and you risk not connecting at all because they can react and defend just because it is a little bit further back. Bandit is all the same. She'll get the dash and 2 hits on all of the inner tiles. Therefore, it's best to plant her on the 4th tile for that quickest connection. Bomber cannot get a bomb off in time when planted on the 4th most inner tile. He'll only get 1 bomb on the inner tile, but that is a really long distance and a terrible strategy. They can stop this super easily. Negative elixir trade. Bowler will only get 3 bowls on the Princess Tower on any of the tiles. He's best placed on the 4th tile to be as close to the princess as possible to lock onto the tower before an opponent can react to him. Baby Dragon will only get 2 shots off when planted on the most inner tile, but he'll get 3 shots when planted on the other tiles. Ice Wizard gets 2 shots off any of the inner tiles, but this is barely 100 damage. He should not be used for this. He should only be used as a defensive card to counterattack. The Wizard also only gets 2 shots on the inner tile. You've got to be pretty desperate to be throwing 5 elixir into this tile. Executioner also only gets 2 throws of his axe from any tile. Now, with the splitters and swarmies like archers, they'll only get 2 shots total, 1 each. The outside archer seems like she wants to split, but she wavers back and hits the princess. Rascals do more damage placed on the 4th tile just because once the girls lock on, they really lock on. They shoot really fast while the Rascal boy tanks for the girlies. This amount of damage is not something your opponent can ignore. The Rascal girls will deal slightly less damage on the 3rd and the 2nd tile plants, and they're a lot less likely to lock onto the princess tower from these tiles. Planting them on the very 1st tile is not optimal. They not only do less damage, but it also takes them a long time to connect to the princess tower. Spear Goblins will only get 2 shots off from any of the tiles, so the best plant is just to put them on the 4th tile. Fire Spirits do not make it to the princess tower at all, though if you plant it right on the river, 1 spirit connects to the king. Kinda weird. Just like the Fire Spirits, the Ice Spirit does absolutely nothing planted on any inner tile. Right at the river, the AI goes toward the king but does not connect. Goblin Barrel sent onto a princess tower gets 4 stabs when center planted. You basically get the same results of 4 stabs when planted in the top corner away from the king. Plant it 1 tile directly from the center and it's still 4 stabs. Plant it directly on the inside, nearest the king, and it'll still get 4 stabs. But if you plant all of the other corners and the bottom side, it's only going to result in 3 stabs. That's 99 less damage. These are suboptimal tiles for bait users. The Giant will get 7 hits on your tower from any inner tile plant. But if you plant the Giant right at the bridge, he'll get 9 hits on the tower. All cards will get more damage bridge planted, but inner tile plants are used to catch your opponent off guard and get some of that quick damage that you need to finish off the game. There's a faster way to connect to your princess if their princess tower is down. This is genius. Planting her on the 1st tile from the river is close enough for her to shoot right away after loading. It is almost completely unstoppable, rather than right at the bridge where she has to walk a few steps. The Battle Ram planted alone on any inner tile will never connect to the Princess Tower because of the King and its recent buff and damage to match the Princess Tower's damage. Battle Ram on the 1st tile goes to the King Tower instead. Kinda strange. So a classic bridge planted Battle Ram alone is the best option, ensuring the highest chances of it connecting. If you try to plant any Building Seekers on the 1st tile of the river, Ice Golem, a big goofy giant, a fast Hog Rider, Skeleton Barrel, Balloon, Royal Giant, Lava Hound, they are all going towards the Princess Tower, but for some reason that Battle Ram still goes to the King Tower. Planting any unit on the innermost tile and the 2nd most inner tile. Units typically will go to the Princess Tower. Any units that are planted beyond these 2 tiles will go toward the King Tower. Notice how the Ice Spirit does not make it to the King Tower when planted on the 3rd tile. The further down you deploy it, the less curve it travels. Planted on the 5th tile, it barely reaches and connects onto the King Tower. But when planted on the 6th tile, this is the red line, the path, the red carpet. The Ice Spirit takes the least amount of damage because it is the fastest path towards the King Tower. So never plant anything on the inside lane to get to the King Tower. Hogs planted on the 3rd tile only get 3 shots on the King Tower, whereas when the Hog is planted right on the path, he'll get 4 shots on the King Tower. That is a lot more damage when it counts. The Electro Dragon and Baby Dragon can outrange and avoid shots from the Princess Tower by planting them on the furthest tile of the map. Although the Inferno Dragon and the Lava Hound are too fat, so these tiles don't even matter to them. with no princess towers at all. All air units planted in the front of the king will go directly straight to the king. Air units are the units that'll fly in a straight line. When there is no princess tower at all, the red path is going to be the fastest way for all ground units. Except, notice how the prince takes more damage the further he gets toward the king. Until he's planted on either of the middle tiles in front of the king, he charges directly towards the king rather than running around it. This is a weird exception. This works for both of the regular prince and the dark prince. To summarize everything, you almost always want to plant stuff on the inner tile for quick chip damage on the princess tower. When both princess towers are down, you should plant all air units and the princess directly in front of the king tower, and all ground units on the red line paths. Thanks for watching.